Good morning, good evening, and good night. Thank you very much for joining a new Coffee with R, in Spanish, a café con R. This is a podcast sponsored by Foundation Calanit in Santiago, Chile. And I have a very, very important guest. He's living in China, but he was born in France. And because of the occasion, I flew to China. I am in Beijing, and talking with Paul. Paul Rochon is a PhD in cognitive science and founder of a health consultancy firm known as Engineering Wellbeing. It's amazing, no? Something very strange, something that we will go into this show, and we will talk about what kind of company is engineering well-being. So hello, Paul, and thank you for being here.
Hello, Roberto. My pleasure for being invited to this amazing podcast. I'm really looking forward to communicate with Chile and Shanghai on the same time.
Good. Yeah, sure. It's important. Sorry, guys, it's not Beijing, it's Shanghai, but it's okay. Anyway, China is a fabulous. Paul, what kind of company is engineering well-being?
Engineering well-being, it's a holistic well-being company, which we focus on improving mental, physical, and environmental well-being. So let's say we work with schools, with individual, with company, and we offer something like a customized solution to help individual and organization to thrive by addressing what we call the key aspect of stress management, sleep, emotional health, and physical health. So we combine science, technology, human-centric approach, and we try to create what we call the environment where people can express their full potential.
And knowing that you're trying to push that full potential of the people, the other time we met, you talked me about how important is sleep, but not because of the many hours you sleep. It's more important when you wake up, and some details on that. So if you can, share those thoughts and insights, it will be very nice for the audience because they will know.
Great. I'm glad that you remember this part, because that's probably the most important part that so few people share in the world. Yeah, we all think about the importance of the hour of spending to bed, but the most important, like you said, it's the time that you wake up. Of course, fortunately, we all wake up at a different time on Earth, and this is just because the sun is telling us at what time we have to wake up. So the more we reconnect with the sun, and the more our biological clock will feel satisfied.
So this means, and this is my something I'm thinking about. So from the people that is living in, let's say, in Norway, when they have lots of sun, and winter they have lots of dark. How do they work their health in terms of sleeping?
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good point. It's a classic question, and people have developed what we call this kind of light. It's called light therapy. So they will have like very powerful light when it's dark. They will turn on when they try to mimic the sun. Let's say that. That's something which is important in company right now, and that's what we try to implement in school as well. We try to recreate the sunrise and the sunset inside of the company. So you can do that in the north, you can do that in the south, you can do that anywhere on earth, because right now, nobody is very well connected with the sun. Everybody lives inside of the house with not a lot of natural light. So what the light, you should recreate natural light inside of your company. That will help tremendously your biological clock.
And by meaning of that, when you try to recreate, and let's go to China where you work now, how do you recreate sun in, let's say, in a school or in a company?
You will use a specific kind of LED light, but here we go inside of the technical part. The little secret is you heard about you shouldn't see the blue light the evening by watching your phone, right? So those blue light is very good the morning, but is very bad the evening. So you need to have a lot blue light the morning, and the blue light it come or from the sun the morning or from very specific light that you can put on your ceiling. So LED is very big in blue, so it's very good the LED in the morning, but you should switch the wavelength of the light during the day. So a lot of electronic light already do these kind of things. You switch from the blue to the red during the day, just following the sun outside, the pattern of the sun.
So, and when you wake up, let me go up again to when you wake up, because this is important thing. I'm thinking I'm living in my home. I have this curtains that they block the light from the sun. I might think that that's not a good solution, because if I want to be connected with the sun, and if I'm blocking this one, I'm not adjusting my body to the real time when the sun is going up. Is that right?
It's exactly that. So right now, with everything being connected, they have this kind of automatic curtain that will open for you at the destined time. And if you have teenager, try to do that inside of their bedroom. First, they will not be against you because you try to wake them up. They will be against the curtain that open automatically before the time they have to wake up. But yes, the best way is to have the curtain when you sleep to avoid the light because it's blocking your sleep, and then to have as much light as possible as soon as you wake up.
So when you wake up, I mean, it will be a good thing that if you can go out and see the sun and feel the sun, you will, bring a lot of energy to your body. Is that right?
Yes, that's something I tell my patient very often. Like if you don't have a dog, get a dog, because the dog is going to bring you outside as soon as he's waking up. The sun rising, he doesn't want to go outside to satisfy some physiological need. He just wants to go outside to get the sun. So he will bring it with you for 15 minutes. You will have your little walk, and then it will be perfect for your energy for the rest of the day.
So we have two tricks now. We need to have a dog, and we need to have automatic curtains in order to open the windows. Great. Let me go back to your company. What are your main services?
Yeah, so the main services, we talk about sleep, but we can see in a lot of different ways. Actually, the main services include, I would say, the well-being workshop. That's number one for staff, for students, for parents. Of course, so we have the sleep consultation and treatment, but we have as well what we do, what we call the environmental assessment. What we try to do is we optimize spaces for health, for performance. We have as well special needs services. So we run a program that's called Engineering Sleep. So like I explained you on the same time, but we have the well-being in general as well. So sleep and well-being are very separated, I will say. The treatment plan we have for sleep is associated with the software as well that we develop. So everything is due to design and to improve the quality of your life. So that's the main services that we will do.
Can you go a little bit deeper on the way that software is working, as well as some of those details? Because I would like the audience to know. I mean, if you want to get healthy, I mean, you need to sleep well. And now, Paul, you can give us a lot of advice on how to do it. And also, if in the future, I mean, they can contact you as well.
So I'm a biopsychologist, which means actually I take care of the biology and the psychology at the same time. So it's a very holistic approach, but it's very grounding into science. What we do, we measure people. We measure your biological health. For instance, we can measure your gut health, your metabolism health, your sexual hormone health, a little bit differently than a hospital. We do what we call functional medicine. So this is to analyze your nervous system as well. We will analyze your breathing pattern. This is all the physical health or physical well-being. Then we will measure your psychological well-being. We have like a survey as well that help us to put a diagnostic on the way you see things, the way you think, and then we will analyze as well your focus, your attention, more your cognitive process. So we have a full pattern for full I would say, analyze of you physical and you psychologically and you cognitively. And from there, we will propose you different treatment. So we will do that at an individual level, but we will do that at a company level. So we will measure everybody in a company, and we will propose series of workshops in order to take care of certain part of what we have found inside of the survey and biological test.
And how do you adapt your services to the needs of different markets? Because, I mean, it's very nice what you're telling me, but I'm thinking, I mean, if you are in China and you also service Southeast Asia, Australia, Europe, let's say some places in North America, I mean, all these guys are very different. And I
Yeah,
mean, they need to go and sleep, for sure. They
that's
need to
true.
behave well, and they need to be productive in their business. That's sure. They also need
Exactly.
to go to school. So there's a lot of similarities, but among that, there's a lot of differences.
Yes, yes, and this is where we are very specific. Is like we are using a lot of different kind of treatment. Yeah, I talked just before about the way we measure things, right? The way we measure shit, we use a scientific survey. So this is can be replicable by anybody. But we use, of course, we will measure specific things that make our measure a little bit more specific. But then our treatment will be using any kind of way of doing it from the Western and from the Eastern way, I would say. So I live in China for 17 years, and I came here to study, of course, to see the way they think globally, the human being, and I take a lot of knowledge from there. Even from spirituality, I would say. So we need to englobe the way we communicate with people. We need to understand how people want to perceive the knowledge and how they can apply it to themselves. So I'm as well a hypnotherapist. So for me, it's very important to hear and to understand the way you want to take information. So for instance, that's said, okay? We will use a very personal approach. That's my point here. I need to understand you. I need to understand the way you speak, the way you want to hear, and then I will deliver something very specific. For example, in school, we will focus on something more emotional, I would say. We will create some supportive environment for the student, for the teacher. In workplace, maybe we will do more stress management. We will work on the productivity. We try to adapt the people performance, right? We will do as well for high-level athlete. That's some things that we take care of. Okay, as well, I was a rugby professional player when I was much younger. So I work a lot of the state of mind, how people change their mindset in order to perform. And I love to work with sports people because they are always willing to learn some new thing from everywhere from the world. So we are both able to work with the Western and the Eastern philosophy to make sure the solution is personal.
So every solution will be personal, depending on the place you live, on the way you think. So will be Western and Eastern on the things that they need to perform. So if you go an athlete, I mean, those guys are very competitive. So they also need to learn a lot about how to be, in a good health. So there's a lot of different avenues in where you need to go and make your work. And by meaning that, what kind of customers does your business cater for?
Yeah, so I talk about a little bit the range, but we
Yeah.
are broad range, but we are very focused on the same time. So first of all, we work with education. That's what matters the most for me as my value, I would say. It's like I believe in the next generation. We believe inside of bringing to people the best out of the generation before, right? I think we resonate on that together, Roberto. So it's
Yes.
for us like and then second, I will say the corporate and the organization. And then what I like the most, it's the sports people. I would say that's what I like to work toward the best of the outcome that can someone bring on the ground, I would say, right? So age-wise, we do from children to adult. We really go from very young kids to very old person because everybody needs good sleep, I would say, just for that.
And any difference between a child is different. I might think because of the education in China to the child in let's say in Australia, where you also do a lot of things.
Yes.
Main difference between the two?
Yeah, top number one difference is the way they have been, the way they are taught. I mean, in China, the kids is a king, right? They are never wrong. They can do whatever, but at school, it's very strict. They have to follow a very strict process. So you have this kind of dichotomy inside of the kids in China, which makes them the way they are later, and in Australia is more a Western approach where they do whatever, but at the same time they will be grounded much more easily because they need to be a part of the whole family.
And is it where it's more difficult to start, not to do things? Because I mean, you have a program and you will follow the program, and at the end you will be a successful program. But when you need to approach a Chinese child and you go to Australia, who will follow you first? I might guess from what you're saying today, a Chinese, because they know. I mean, if someone is there and you are kind of a professor, they will follow because you are the professor. And the student say, yeah, I need to go there with, I know he's fun, he's nice, but yeah, he can wait. Is that right?
It is true. Actually, that's a very funny, because that's a question I will ask to almost all my patients. I will say, do you want to understand how it works, or do you want to know how to do? So most part of the Chinese people will just tell me, I just want to know how to do. I don't care about understanding how it works. It's not that stupid. It's about, for them, the goal is to make the things happen. And it's very driven, focused to goal oriented. And I think it's very powerful. And it's a big, here we go inside of philosophy of sociology, I would say. And then in a Western country, Western country will be much more like, oh, we want to understand. And that's true. When I will do a workshop with Western people or with Chinese, it will be very different because of this kind of feeling and way of acting towards the information.
Okay. And I mean, this is very nice. Can you tell me a little about your company in the future? What you're looking about? I mean, you are talking about the future generations. So how do you see engineering well-being in the future?
But we expect to expand our services into more international market. That's true. Particularly where the mental health, the well-being is becoming a little bit more prominent. Like in China, I will say it's not yet totally here. So we base in China where it's not very widely accepted, but it's accepting everywhere in the Western world, the needs of well-being. Then what we want to develop our print into the technology, especially in sleep science. So I started studying sleep 25 years ago because I wanted to create a very specific watch that wake you up at the good time. Think about it, right? Now the sleep watch is everywhere on Earth, but I was already trying to do that. And I still have a project right now, which I'm looking for the right person to work with, I would say. We're looking for investor. We're looking for people who understand the market a little bit more than just the normal biofeedback people. So at the end, additionally to all that, we hope to build much stronger partnership as well with school and with education people, because we really believe everything starts by education. So I like to travel. I like to see people who give their time for that, and that's one of the reasons I'm here today with you, Roberto.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, time is flying, and we have talked a lot. But I have just a last question. You're in China, right?
Yes.
What is your favorite dish over there? It's nothing about, well-being, but what is your favorite dish in China? You will tell me crepes.
Yeah, I don't eat spicy, so for me it's reducing a lot already. And I really like we call it the Beijing Rego. So it's a hot pot for the Beijing hot pot. I'm a fan of that. It's lamb oriented, kind of hot water when you put the lamb inside with a lot of different sauce. So that's my favorite dishes.
Good. Well, thank you very much, Paul. Paul Rochon. French, living in China, developing this, I would say, something that's very good for your health. And again, thank you very much for being here. And I hope you guys to see you in another Coffee with R somewhere else around the world. Thank you very much, Paul. See you
Thank
guys.
you
Bye
very much,
bye.
Roberto. Bye bye.